Star General Barry McCaffrey. And we should also mention that you are an analyst for NBC News as well.
I sure am, yeah. MSNBC and CNBC.
Thank you so much for being here. The topic I think that a lot of people have been talking about this past week, especially with Senator Paul Rand's filibuster, 13-hour filibuster on the Senate floor, drones. And I think one of the things that was so interesting when he asked the Obama administration, are you going to strike Americans on U.S. soil? And here's what Attorney General Eric Holder wrote. It has come to my attention that you have now asked an additional question. Does the president have the authority to use a weaponized drone to kill an American not engaged in combat on American soil? That answer to the question is no. That sounds to me like it's almost a non-denial denial.
Well, you know, the whole thing was handled bad. Attorney General Holder is a friend and somebody I have great respect for, but he handled that very badly. There's always a theoretical possibility. We had a civil war in this country. We, you know, killed 600,000 of each other over the course of several years. So that's what I think he was talking about. But the chances of a drone being used anywhere against an American in the United States are zero. He should have said that up front. Zero. We have the posse comitatus act. The U.S. Armed Forces essentially can't arrest people or collect evidence domestically unless there's a national emergency. The president says, you know, they're rioting in the streets and you've got to create law and order. So it was a specious issue, I thought, badly handled by the administration.
So they should have been more clear.
Yeah, sure. Of course that's not on the table. We've killed 2 Americans overseas that were foreign combatants, but, you know, that's a completely different issue. Somebody that's opposing U.S. national security represents a clear and present danger. By the way, the whole drone issue is certainly worthy of legal debate. And we ought to understand our policy before we get too far into it, because everyone else in the world is now building and buying drones also.
When it comes to national security, one of the countries that's mentioned more and more these days is China. In fact, President Obama's National Security Advisor Thomas Donilon, speaking at the Asia Society yesterday, mentioning China by name, which is really going against protocol. Usually they wouldn't call out a nation like China. But he said increasingly U.S. businesses are speaking out about their serious concerns about sophisticated, targeted theft of confidential business information and proprietary technologies through cyber intrusions emanating from China on an unprecedented scale. And he said, as the president said in the State of the Union, we will take action to protect our economy against cyber threats. Is this something that we're starting to really see as becoming the hot topic for national security?
Well, you know, I think you make a good argument. There's only 2 threats to the American people that could bring us to our knees. One is cyber terrorism, and the other one probably is biological warfare. The cyber terrorism tends to be more reconnaissance and industrial espionage than anything else, but they're clearly exploring networks of computers that run our transportation system and banking, etc., with a view that potentially they could be war-making tools. And the lead threat to the United States is the People's Republic of China, and it's done by the People's Liberation Army. So how do we get them to stop? And by the way, there's such intense economic and political and cultural cooperation with China, thank God, that you can't imagine that either nation would want to jeopardize that kind of growing importance. So, but I don't know. The PLA is clearly every day 200,000 attacks on U.S. defense system networks.
I think it's interesting. We talk about China attacking our networks, but aren't we doing that to them as well? Well, are we engaged in that?
You know, I'm in and out of that world periodically, and we do have, thank God, we've got the National Security Agency. We've now got a cyber command. We have immense capacity to understand cyber warfare and obviously potentially to use it ourselves. Certainly in the public media, there's been much discussion of Stuxnet and did we go after the Iranian nuclear capacity. My sort of public understanding of it is, of course we did, probably in cooperation with the Israelis. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is a tool that we're undoubtedly also exploring their networks. But industrial espionage is the problem on the table today with the Chinese.
Well, General McCaffrey, we appreciate you stopping by again. And tell us where you'll be tonight speaking.
Well, tonight, Westminster College, I've given an evening lecture at 7:30 on leadership of complex organizations. I'll talk to the ROTC students from the state of Utah this afternoon at 2:30 in their honors program this morning. So it's a beautiful college, and it's a great opportunity for me.
Well, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much for stopping.